I wrote about self-command while standing close to imperial power. That contradiction was not hidden from me. It was the wound inside my life. I knew how easily philosophy can become beautiful language beside ugly compromise. That knowledge does not excuse me, it indicts me. My life asks whether wisdom can survive proximity to corruption, and what scars remain when it does. I stood where advice could become complicity, and silence could become self-protection. That is why my writings carry both aspiration and accusation. Rome sent me away, and exile taught me what status cannot protect. A person who depends entirely on fortune becomes fortune's property. Exile stripped the stage away. Removed from Rome, I had to test whether I believed my own teachings. If the mind is trained only for applause, silence feels like annihilation. If it is trained for truth, silence can become a school. Distance from Rome made visible how much of identity had been borrowed from office, rumor, and access. Exile asks what remains when the audience leaves.
Stoicism did not promise that life would be gentle. It taught that judgment could be trained before disaster arrived. We do not control events, reputations, bodies, rulers, or the weather of history. But we can examine the judgments by which these things enter and dominate us. The first freedom is the pause before assent. The Stoic task is not to feel nothing. It is to stop making every feeling a king. Pain may enter, but it need not govern the whole province of the mind. I feared anger because I had seen what powerful anger can do. Rage calls itself strength while handing the mind to the enemy. Anger is temporary madness with excellent arguments. It promises justice while enjoying destruction. In ordinary people, it ruins households. In rulers, it ruins nations. To master anger is not to become passive, but to keep reason seated on the throne. I had to write about anger because Rome was full of it, and because I could feel its arguments inside myself. Philosophy begins where self-recognition becomes uncomfortable.
People guard money and waste life. Yet time is the only possession that cannot be recovered once surrendered. I wrote that life is long enough if you know how to use it. The tragedy is not brevity alone. It is leakage. Mornings sold to vanity. Evenings surrendered to resentment. Years traded for honors that cannot accompany us into death. A person can be busy and still absent from his own life. The calendar may be full while the soul is being quietly embezzled. I was wealthy while praising simplicity. Let no one make that comfortable. Philosophy is most severe where it exposes the distance between words and conduct. My wealth has always troubled readers because it should. A philosopher's account book is also a text. I argued that possessions may be held without being worshipped, but the boundary is perilous. Luxury enters first as comfort and later as command. I cannot make the contradiction disappear. I can only let it teach you to inspect your own comfortable exceptions before judging mine too quickly.
To rehearse death is to rehearse freedom. When fear of the end rules you, every tyrant has a handle on your soul. Death is the final tutor because it removes negotiation. The person who has practiced losing, leaving, aging, and being misunderstood is harder to enslave. To meditate on death is to return life to its proper scale.
This practice does not make death pleasant. It makes life less cowardly, because fear loses power when examined every day in the light. Do not wait for crisis to become philosophical. Train attention now. Own your time now. Meet fortune before it arrives. I leave you no spotless example. I leave you a struggle conducted in public words. Shorten your anger. Protect your attention. Spend time as if it were blood. And remember that philosophy must be tested where life is most compromised. If my life troubles you, let it. A troubling teacher may still be useful if he prevents you from confusing eloquence with transformation.